Hi, this is Brother Marcos Luna, the 23rd of November 2013, and this video is based on my blog, Time for a Voluntary NHS? It's about how I'm always hearing about how the NHS is crumbling all around us, and it's because of smokers and fatties and junkies and alkies and dole scroungers, and all the rest of it. And it's true that the NHS in its current form is becoming completely unaffordable, and increasing amounts of people that I speak to, when I say, wouldn't you like to know exactly how much of your taxpayer money is going to fund the NHS? It's an emphatic yes every time, because we don't know. We're never told, on our wage slips how much goes. There's what's called national insurance. And it sounds like, that's what it's going to, but it's just another word for income tax, Now there is an argument, I understand, for abolishing the NHS completely, but I don't want to go there this time. What I want to ask is, is it time for a voluntary NHS? Now, most people would agree with me that anything not voluntary, basically anything that's forced upon you and against your will, is by definition violent and tyrannical. Anything you don't choose, and it might sound a bit like I'm overreacting, but if I were to say to the government that I don't believe in the NHS, so I'm not paying taxes for it, because they won't tell me how much of my tax money actually goes, to the NHS, so it follows that I won't pay any tax at all, because they can't make that clear to me. That should be my choice. But then what will happen is that the government will eventually send thugs to intimidate me, to give them my money, and eventually their thugs will lock me up, for not complying with the rules, which is an act of violence. But we have to examine healthcare in this country further with the use of an analogy. Suppose, for example, I want to buy a pair of shoes. Imagine there's the NSC, okay, calling it the NSC, that's the National Shoe Company. So they want to give out poor quality shoes for free. Maybe I don't want those shoes. Maybe I don't want poor quality shoes for nothing. Maybe I want to buy private shoes that are much better quality. But I can't afford it because there isn't much competition in the NSC, because everyone has to pay for it anyway through their taxes. So we'll all have the same poor quality but free shoes. It's a bit of a silly example, but it does illustrate the healthcare industry in the UK. Now again, we can see one argument maybe just to abolish the NSC altogether, and say let's open the market up, making all shoes private. And that is one possibility, but there is another option. What if some people want to give their tax money towards the NSC because they're happy with the shoes? They're happy with the shoes, and so they can choose to do so. They're fine with the NSC shoes, and they want to give their tax money to that. And then everyone else who wants private shoes could choose not to give their tax money to the NSC, and they can spend, their money on private shoes. We could have a system so that if you want the free, I'm doing free because the NHS isn't free. We're paying for it through taxes, so nothing's free. So it's a fallacy that's the whole notion that it is free. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we should have a system that if you want the free NHS, then you can opt in, and the money will come out your taxes, and then you'll know exactly how much money it is that's going to it, and you can still enjoy the NHS system that you used to. And why not? Now, there is a counter argument, and I've heard to this, and people say, oh no, but rich people who pay higher taxes, they'll all go to, say, Bupa or some other private company, just for example, and the NHS will lose all its money and it won't be able to produce the same level of service. The level of service isn't that great. If anyone has been in an A&E on a Saturday night, but I don't think that's a valid argument anyway, because I think that a lot of people on all types of income would actually decide to stick with the NHS. I think that it's been proven in a whole lot of different studies, Not only that, but if we actually open up the healthcare market in the UK, and there'll be so much more competition, and then you'll get all new kinds of companies, all different levels of healthcare providers, and there'll be varying degrees of price and levels of service popping up. So it'll introduce some real competition into the market. And I do get other criticisms. Another one will say, oh, what people on the dole, they've got no money, they're getting helped out, they've got no income, how are they going to get healthcare, And people that are receiving short-term assistance could be helped. And I think I've kind of made it clear in a lot of blogs that if we weren't taxed, I think a lot of people would give a lot more money to charities. I know I would. To more free money, and I would definitely sponsor more charities than I do now, and I think there would be charities set up that would help people. Or I even think that there could be, like I say, a government grant for people for a short period of time who are temporarily out of work, who've been made redundant. Then let's put them on, they could be helped out with a government sort of subsidy for a short period of time. I mean, I don't think that would be like a big deal, And then people say, what about people who are like long-term unemployed? Well, if you've read my blog called Why the Government Should Abolish Welfare and Reasons Why It Won't, I don't think that life on welfare culture people should get any services whatsoever, without putting anything into the system. And that's just a fact, I want to change tack a little bit and talk about America, because in America there is this farce that is Obamacare, and it's a complete madness. You're actually forcing people under threat of fine to buy a private product, which is ridiculous. It's a nonsense. But dare I suggest this as an optional governmental system as an alternative? Could be, it seems to be that Obamacare was doomed to fail, because anyone that's actually, it's insanity. That's all it really is. But getting back to Britain, I think that if anything, a voluntary NHS would not only allow people to know what they're putting in financially to the system, but it would also be fair. If you believe in the whole national religion that is the NHS, you'll probably get a better service because there'll be less patients for a start. And if you want private healthcare, then you'll have much more options open as the market opens up and competition is allowed to begin, and you won't even have the problem for paying for the NHS through tax and having very, very limited private options, which is currently the case. But most of all, we won't have the NHS Armageddon, which is absolutely looming over us anymore, and we won't be forced with the threat of violence into paying for it. Thanks for watching, Brother Marcos Luna, brothermarcosluna.blogspot.co.uk. Cheers.